Very much, Mr. Chairman. I commend you on conducting a hearing. It's something we have not had in the Tax Policy Subcommittee or in the full committee concerning the Republican tax bill, which, as Mr. Paul indicated, is apparently going to be coming up here before some trade matters are. Indeed, we've been here for the entire month of September. We will have soon, with next week's recess, have gone through half of October, and not one expert, not one business with the varying impact on business has appeared before any subcommittee or the full committee to talk about taxes and the impact of the Republican tax plan on business. It would appear that the approach will be the same jack-in-the-box approach that was used in the failed attempt to destroy health care coverage for millions, and that is to pop out a bill without ever having a thorough public discussion of its impact on the American economy and the American taxpayer. But having appreciation for the fact that we're having a hearing today does require some consideration of what the hearing's on. And with all due respect to the chairman and the witnesses, this seems to me to be the wrong hearing at the wrong time. Yesterday, President Trump said that NAFTA, and I quote, "NAFTA will have to be terminated if we're going to make it good. Otherwise, I believe you can't negotiate a good deal." While our trade relationship with Vietnam and Korea and the various countries in Asia is important, we just had the Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Trudeau, remind us that America sells more goods to Canada than it does to China, Japan, and the United Kingdom combined. And Morning Trade is saying, is quoting one business representative as saying, "This is absolutely headed for a disaster. This is an absolute crisis." The New York Times is reporting while we've been meeting about the far-reaching consequences for the economy, for so many businesses, and the disruption of supply chains if President Trump proceeds to terminate NAFTA, which he's empowered to do. It is particularly surprising that we would be having this hearing about Asia while Mexico and Canada and our trade with them is so much as it's at stake. But whether it's Asia or NAFTA, we have no one here from the administration who's been asked to come and explain the administration trade policy. That may be because the administration can't seem to agree on its trade policy any more than it can agree with fellow Republicans about its foreign policy, as Senator Corker has acknowledged. It would seem to me that the importance of having the administration come here on NAFTA is emphasized by the fact that when NAFTA was first approved, we had 8 days of hearings on it. We had 8 appearances by administration officials to explain the administration position. And I think it's very important that the administration be summoned here to explain its trade policy, whether it's Asia or perhaps much more important, what it's doing with reference to NAFTA and what the consequences of terminating NAFTA will be on one sector of our economy after another and how many job losses will result from it. I very much favor reform of NAFTA. There are many things that need to be changed in it after 2 decades, but the idea of terminating or repealing it will have far-reaching consequences in Texas, and it will have far-reaching consequences across our country. I think that for the subcommittee and for our full committee to not summon the administration officials here to explain their position on NAFTA and on other aspects of our trade policy really just empowers President Trump to make this very significant blow against NAFTA.
Would the gentleman yield?
On your time. Ms. Moreland, let me ask you, what effect will terminating NAFTA have on your business? Is it good or bad?
Thank you for the question. With respect to NAFTA, it's an agreement that would least impact us depending on the extent of change or reach.
Thank you. Ms. Sullivan, how does it affect your business?
Mr. Doggett, it's deeply concerning. For our industry, for the beef industry, it would have a significant impact. I believe that and I'm speaking as a producer, so it's my personal opinion alone. I think that there are some items, as you had mentioned, that are worth readdressing, but for the beef industry, it would have a significant impact.
I thank you.
Yep.
And I'll be glad to yield on your time.
Gentleman's time has expired.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I would like to reiterate that all of our recent conversations with the administration, with all the members on this committee, with the U.S. Trade Representative indicate that we are modernizing NAFTA, that we're not eliminating NAFTA, where nobody's talking about throwing it out, that the discussions have been on what can we improve while we continue to negotiate on other bilateral trade agreements.